Good morning. Today is Monday, the 4th day of Tamuz. Yesterday we celebrated the Gimel Tamuz, the 3rd day of Tamuz, the beginning of the redemption, the Chag HaGeula of the Frierdiker Rebbe, and the day that the Lula of the Rebbe. And we went, and the Rebbe is giving the brachas, continues to give the blessings, and we're waiting for this blessing to be revealed with the coming of Mashiach very soon. We're going to have also today an event. Online event, and everyone is invited to join. It's going to be a very interesting event. We can share this with you. You can see what this event that unfazed with speakers, with entertainment, and that's going to be tonight, 7 p.m. And you go to online ChabadSheepsheadBay.com/unfazed at 7 p.m. tonight. Okay, and today we start with we finished the chapter 11 of Shaar Hayichud VeHaemuna, gates of unity and faith in Hashem. What is the topic of this chapter 11, which, by the way, we're almost finished. Next, this part of Tanya, there's 12 chapters, and we're talking about what it means. Hashem is one. The oneness of Hashem. Everything, no matter what, no matter how many different things you see in this world, does not affect the unity, the oneness of Hashem. There's one God and nothing else. And we spoke about the oneness of the creation, that the creation is one with Hashem. That is obvious. And because, well, now it's obvious that we learn the Tanya, we know it becomes obvious. But it means that it is obvious because we understand that every part of the creation is nothing, doesn't have its own existence. It is only existing because Hashem constantly recreates it. And then we spoke about the emotive attributes of Hashem, the kindness of Hashem, the wisdom of Hashem, that this is how they are one with Hashem. Not that they're nullified into Hashem, but they are one with Hashem. And this is something that is beyond, at the end of the day, it's beyond human understanding. And then yesterday, the Alter Rebbe started speaking about the letters. What is the letters? The letters is basically the bridge, we called it, between the emotive attributes and the creation. Just like when you have emotive attributes in human terms, God created us after all in the image of God. So when we can learn about God somewhat by analyzing humans, everything that we have in humans. So in humans, you have also a similar concept. You have the emotive attributes that we have, emotions. In order to come into action, you need the letters. The letters, it leads the emotions leads you to think, and the thinking uses letters. Even if it seems like you're doing a thing spontaneously, it's still you're using letters that shapes and forms the emotions that you have. And you have the letters in the thoughts, which are concealed letters. It's more for yourself, and you have letters of speech and so on, and ultimately leads to action. So similar vein, we say regarding Hashem, regarding God, we have also these letters, so to speak, that Hashem, these are the 10 utterances that God created this world. Those come from the emotive attributes of Hashem in order to create this world. That means when you have an emotion of the emotive attribute of God, which is the kindness. So Hashem has the attribute of kindness. So the attribute of kindness is very abstract. Kindness can be shaped into many different ways. As you explained yesterday, from the kindness can become light, and from the kindness you can have water, all kinds of things that represent kindness. And here, what shapes and what forms the kindness into a specific and channels the kindness into a specific thing, these are the letters of Hashem, the letters, the Hebrew letters. When God says the attribute, the utterance, Yehi or, let there be light, so that formed the kindness into shape of light. And we explained that there is the combination of the Hebrew letters, and each and every single creature in this world has a source of its life from the combination. Now, the question was, however, when we talk about the letters, if we're talking about the oneness of Hashem, that nothing adds to God, so when we talked about the emotive attributes, we said this is not outside of God, it's part of God Himself. What about the letters? But the letters, they seem to be a specific channel that gets specific form, which seems to be outside of Hashem. And here the Alter Rebbe came and explained, no, that even the letters, they are really also an extension of Hashem's emotive attributes. And again, those are things that is beyond our understanding and at the end of the day. But just to explain a little bit, what is a letter? When we're talking about words by humans, we're talking about words, letters. You know, there's a saying, sometimes people talk, but they said nothing. So what does that mean? Letters, with the way we see letters, the letters are they're inanimate objects. When you can say words, if they don't have a meaning in them, then the words don't mean nothing. So the letters, it's called a domain, the inanimate. Except within the letters, this carries the special energy. And you have to be able to take this energy through the letters. So this is an example to understand a little bit the concept that really the letters represent something deeper. So let's see how the Alter Rebbe says this inside. Here. So the Alter Rebbe continues. But in the truth is, Bechinas Oisiyos Adibur Shel Maila, Maila Mimadregas Mahus Chochma V'Seichel Anivroim. Says in truth, however, the supernal letters of speech are far higher than the level of an essence of the wisdom and intellect of the created beings. What is he saying? When we spoke about the letters, that they are the intermediate between the emotive attributes and the creation. That means where in the ladder of the process, the way we explained by humans, you have the process, you have the emotive attributes, you have the intellect comes first. Then you have the emotive attributes, that creates emotive attributes. And the emotive attributes, they create the letters. So when we're talking about the letters that they come from the emotive attributes and they lead to action. This is only by humans, it says. Because the truth, when we're talking about the letters of the higher letters, the letters of Hashem, the utterances of Hashem, there the letters are much, much higher because they create the intellect. They're even higher than the intellect. And the Alter Rebbe is going to explain, Sharei b'mayma v'oisiyos nase odom etzalmeinu v'goymer nivra odom bal chochma v'seichel. He says, for man possessor of wisdom and intellect, was created by the utterance and the letters of the phrase, let us make man in our image. So we see that when we're talking about the letters of Hashem, the letters of above, this is much, much greater than and above the intellect of the creations, the humans. Why? Because we see that the letters created this man that is a possessor of wisdom and intellect. Not only the letters, it says, Oy afilu behevel elyon levad. A man, possessor of wisdom and intellect, was created even by the divine breath alone. What is the divine breath? Every letter has one thing in common, that you have the breath, which means that even with the breath alone, that itself was the source of the creation of man. And it is written, "Vayipach be'apav nishmas chaim," and he breathed into his nostrils the soul of life. Veimken, and therefore, adibur ve'evelo elyon u'makoir ha'chochma ve'aseichel shebenishmas adam harishon. So therefore, since the divine speech and breath created man, who possesses wisdom and intellect, so it follows that the divine speech and breath are the source of wisdom and intellect in the soul of Adam. Now we're talking about the soul of Adam Harishon. We're talking about Akoileles Kol Nishmais Atzadikim. His soul contains all of the souls of the tzaddikim, even the righteous tzaddikim, the holy tzaddikim. Shem gedolim imalachi hasharis. The tzaddikim are greater, much superior to the angel than the angels, the ministering angels. The Alter Rebbe once said that if an angel will come into a room where there are 10 Jews, the angel will not be able to sustain. It will evaporate from the holiness of the neshamas of a Jew. Except we don't feel it. We're not talking necessarily about tzaddikim, regular people sitting around in a room, smoking cigars. An angel will not be able to contain the holiness of this neshamas. Because the angel has the tools and he has the ability to sense the holiness, and this is very overwhelming, this holiness of the neshamas. And yet, all of these neshamas, even the neshamas of tzaddikim, which is much superior to the angels, they come from Adam Harishon, from Adam. His neshama included all of the neshamas, and yet his chachma, the seichel, everything of the Adam was created from what? From the letters, and not only the letters, but even the breath, so to speak, the superior, the godly breath from Hashem. So we see that when we're talking about letters, we got to differentiate between our letters and the letters of Hashem. So he says, "V'hainu lefi she'oisi dibur yizborech hein b'chines amshachas koichos v'chayus b'midos of yizborech." The reason for the transcendence of the supernal letters over the soul is that the letters of God's speech are influences of power and life force from his emotive attributes. So we said earlier that emotive attributes are one with Hashem, therefore, and this comes is just drawing down this energy from the emotive attributes, which are united with his essence and being in a perfect unity. What is the emotive attributes? Is one with Hashem. That is infinitely higher than the level of wisdom in created beings. So we see that the letters here, we're talking about a much, much higher level, unlike when we're talking about human letters, that because the letters is a result from the emotive attributes, and they lead to the next level of thought, level of speech, level of action, and so on. And in that case, then why do you call them letters? If they're much higher, if they're one with Hashem and so on, why in what shape, in what way are they considered letters? Comes the Alter Rebbe to explain that they're considered letters only when you compare them to the levels above them. That's what he says. Not when you compare them to the levels that comes after. ולא נקראו בשם אויסיוס לגבי הנברואים. They are termed letters not in relation to created beings, אלא לגבי מידויסו ויזבורך בכבודו ובעצמו, but only relative to God's emotive attributes themselves. Relative to the God's emotive attributes, which is one with Hashem, they are called letters because there they serve as the purpose like the letters, which is to form the different flow and energy that come in different ways. V'hein, chav, beis, mini, amshoches, v'chayus, koiches, shonim zeh mizeh. Now they, the supernal letters, are 22 kinds of effluences of life force and power differing from one another. These are the 22 letters. So the by which all the higher and lower worlds and all the creatures in them were created. They all were created through these 22 letters. And not just the 22 letters, as we explained, also the combination and the different forms, the different types of combination and numerical values and all kinds of different ways that these letters form different creatures. Why 22? That's the way God wanted. Livroi ha'olam bechov beis mini amshochos shoines davke loy pochos velo yosi. He says, for so is it arousing God's will and wisdom that He create the world with exactly 22 different kinds of effluence, neither fewer nor more. He wanted to be in 22 letters. Ve'hein hein chav beis oisios hakvuos bepe veloshen. And these are the 22 letters which are fixed in the mouth and tongue, in the plan b'sefer Yetzirah, as we have learned in Sefer Yetzirah. What is it saying over here? That the 22 letters are fixed in the mouth and tongue. What is he trying to teach us over here? You see, when we're talking about letters, words, where does the words form? You may think the words form in the mouth. You speak. From the mouth, you form different letters. They have the 5 different, the tongue, the throat, of different origins of the letters, the different letters. So it says over here, they're not really formed in the mouth. They're set in the mouth and the tongue, but they're formed much deeper. You see, when you have a child starting to a child, let's say you want to learn music, you want to play a violin. What do you have to do? You have to learn exactly how to play it, how to put the fingers, how to pull the strings and do whatever. You learn all the techniques, how to produce different sounds and different notes. But when a child learns how to speak, you sit down with him and you practice with him how to form and how to change and how to move the lips and how to move the tongue. No. It is something much, much deeper than the mechanical parts. Yes, of course, if God forbid someone has problems, there's speech therapy that helps along. But in essence, by nature, the letters, the words are much, much deeper, than that. They're formed in the soul. That's why humans, what is special about humans is called medaber. He's able to, the one who speaks. Dibur, the speech, is a very deep thing. So here the Alter Rebbe brings this also to say they're only set in the mouth. They're set in the mouth and tongue. God placed them in that place. But really they're much deeper. And here, this gives us also a deeper a deeper appreciation about letters that even by us, by humans, you can also see a little bit of the depth of what letters represent. And you see it also, the Alter Rebbe says, you see also when we're talking about the letters in writing. Now, you would think that this is true if this may be true when you speak letters, but when you're talking about the writing of the letters, that you may think that this is after all, yes, just a mechanical thing, just a shape of a certain letter. Says the Alter Rebbe, no. Yesterday we had the graduation of the Hebrew school by us. So when I spoke to the children, I showed them the letter Aleph and the letter A of the English alphabet. And I asked the children, what is the difference between the A and the Aleph? And Baruch Hashem, as one of them got the right answer. They knew exactly what I mean. So the letter Aleph is made by man. A is made by God. The letter A is decided by man. The Alter Rebbe, you can see in the letters, the shape of the letters also tell you it's not just arbitrary. Somebody decided that this is the letter Aleph and this is the letter Beis. It is a godly decision. It is a godly shape. And therefore, there also you can see that they all have meanings. Even the shape of the letters have meanings. That's what the Rebbe says here. It's munasam b'ksav, imoira al tzio ha'amshacha. The written shape, the shape of the letters of the utterances as written in the Torah, they indicate the form of the flow. The Moshe is Baal Kaman, as will be explained later. That Alter Rebbe explains in the next chapter. You can see, for example, the Yud, the Vav. The Vav is like a Yud on top and a line that draws down, representing different ways of how the godly energy flows down. גם oisius adibo v'amachashava shebenefesh ha'adam heinam shochos me'aseichel ve'amidos shebenefesh imehuson ve'atzmuson k'mo shenizbaya b'mokem acher. For the letters of speech and thoughts in human soul are also outflows from the essence and being of the intellect and emotive attributes, as is explained elsewhere. So here the Alter Rebbe explains that even by humans we can understand the concept of the letters. That is not just something which is outside of Hashem, but really it's connected with the very essence of Hashem, and thereby does not interfere in the whole concept of the oneness of Hashem. That Hashem is really, really one. Everything is one. Hashem, not the emotive attributes add anything, and not the letters way Hashem forms the light. It is only compared to us we see differences, but in essence, it is all one. Is all part of one Hashem. Talking about the letters is also one of the things that by seeing and looking at the Hebrew letters, it adds to our holiness. There was more than once when someone asked the Rebbe that he has problems concentrating by prayer, he has other thoughts and this. The Rebbe told him, look into the Siddur, look into the letters itself, not just that it helps you to focus, not to lose concentration, but also the letters itself, the shape of the letters, the holy letters of the Hebrew letters help you to connect. So this is the end of chapter 11, the end of today's class. Minutes Hashem will continue tomorrow. And make sure to share this, subscribe. We need more people. We need to bring Mashiach very quickly by spreading the teachings of the Torah, the teaching of Hasidus. Any questions, we can take now the questions.